Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. I want to start the show off with a big shout out to the homie Jason Williams. Just joined us here in the sweatshop. He is a VIP member. VIP going to make some noise for the homie Jason Williams. Says, I just purchased my membership and I'm ready to take in some cash. Well, you are definitely in the right place, man. Big shout out to you, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks for becoming part of our fam. We now love you like a brother. So go ahead. You can get your sweatshop tattoo whenever you're ready. Most of us got it right here above the top breastplate, right there. Most of us got our tattoos right there. So go ahead and get it. You in now. We rocking out. All right. So as I said, I'm your host, man, of DFS Jerusalem, man. Shout out to everybody out there in YouTube world. Big shout out to everybody in YouTube, man. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. And what we're gonna do in the first class, man, we're gonna break down pitching. Now, and the reason why we do this, I like to explain this pretty often. The reason why we do this, the reason why we talk pitching, is because I want you to have an idea of what you already want to go with as soon as the lineups come out. By the time we get the lineups, are those Kimba's hoes? No, no. See, no. Listen, I'm still stunting hard, man. The homie Sammy McGlure knows who these young ladies are, okay? And they're not hoes, okay? These are beautiful young women. These are the Bud Light girls. Now, the homie Sammy McGlure won the tournament, invited me to come out with them. We hit up Miami, did the damn thing, had a great time, and these Bud Light women were everywhere. They were everywhere that we went. FanDuel did it top notch, bro. I'm telling you. They did it top notch. Everywhere we went, they were there. And I was like, you know what? I have to get pictures with these beautiful women. And this was the last night. Actually, this was the last night during the final. During the final. So it was a live final. It was dope. It was dope. And now these are my girlfriends. All right. So I want to be synonymous with hot chicks. If you think hot chicks, if you think DFS Jerusalem, I want you to think hot chicks. Come on in, Bud Light. That's what I want you to think. Yo, you see the smile, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm so married. My wife is gonna kill me if something happens. Hell yeah, bro. So, all right, let's go ahead, man, and chop it up. I want to tell you why we do it. Why we go for pitching tonight. What we want to discuss park factors, things that will impact pitching on the day. We want to talk about K rates, what we can expect teams to do in terms of their plate discipline. Okay, we want to get a good read on what pitchers we like to roster. Then we can take a look at some of the stacks in the line drive at 5. So if you're on YouTube, I'm sorry you will not have the benefit of getting inside of the line drive with us, but you can easily make that right the way Jason did. Go ahead and hit up the website at www.dfssweatshop.com. Then you will be allowed. Okay. Paul Harless just chimed in. Gossett was pretty damn good. Paul Harless, right? This is all right. I gotta tell you about Mr. Harless, okay? Paul during basketball season, Paul hit me up and was like, "Yo, this is bullshit. I cannot figure this out. There's no way. I'm about to quit DFS altogether." And he's a player that I felt, because I've been watching him, I felt he was on the verge of being like a supremely profitable guy. He was on the verge. He would be a day early on some of the best picks. Sometimes I picked the guy that Paul liked the day before, and it worked out. So I was like, yo, Paul, hit me up, call me, let's talk. So we had this conversation. We kick it for a little while. The dude's almost a damn pro. Okay? He's almost a pro. And every so often he tells us this play that sounds stupid as shit, but it always turns out to be like the dopest play. He was like, yo, yesterday he's like, you gotta play Gossett. I'm locking in Gossett. And before that, he was like, who was the pitcher that Paul told us to lock in? He told us the Quintana play. He was like, yo, Quintana, I'm telling you. And Quintana had been sucking balls. And he was like, Quintana moved across the street to Chicago. I'm telling you, I live in Chicago. I'm a Cubs guy. Quintana everywhere. And he goes out and scores 41 points. It's crazy. Did I play tonight? Yes, I did play, man. And I got to it lightly. Taking a look here, I'm going to show you exactly what I did. I had like $16 invested. Ended up winning 36. It was decent. It was decent. It wasn't a bad night. Do they have the contest? Are they still open? It wasn't great for me. Well, okay, all of them have ended. I'm sorry. history. Okay, yeah. And my best line, I think, was 150. Yeah, this is my best line. 158. Kluber McCullers, bro. Kluber McCullers. McCann was good. Miggy killed me here. Polanco was shitty. So this was a good one, man. 158 with 2 zeros and a negative from the pitcher. But that Whit Merrifield play from the Kansas City play was pretty decent. From the Kansas City game was pretty decent. So I did, man. Yo, shout out to the Rhino DFS, man, the homie. Yeah, on Sunday, man, I played lightly because I went to church. I went to church. So did I tell you? Okay. Oh yeah, let me tell you. Great story. Okay, so I went to church today, like I always do. The wife and I took the kids and went down to church. And we go into the country to a Baptist holiness old church, right? And so my father-in-law has a little area, a little outhouse area where some of the local cats get together and they sip a few of the finest beers that they could find. And on Sunday they can't really buy them here on Sunday. It's the Bible Belt, so he has a stash there. They get it in on Sundays and have a great time. And of course, there's cigarette smoking, things of that nature. That would always go hang out with the old man, smoke a cigarette, hang out, chill for a little while. And as you know, I quit smoking a couple of weeks ago. And it was funny because my wife and her sister, they always go and hang out in the shop with their dad. And my baby, my 8-year-old, she works there, she thinks, and she knows how to mix drinks, and she knows what she's doing, and she wants to own it at some point. Whatever, it's funny. All right, it's like a little neighborhood hangout, right? And so my wife and my daughter and her sister come back in the house because I didn't go in there because the cigarette smoke. I just didn't think about it. I didn't go in there. So they come back in the house to where I am, and I smell the cigarette smoke, and I'm like, oh my God, that is disgusting. And it was at that moment right there, bam, where I realized I quit. I really did quit, bro. I promise you, I have officially quit smoking cigarettes. After 2 weeks of not smoking, not even being around it, being able to smell my cologne, smell my own self, smell things around me. Like when they walked in the door and they didn't even smoke, they just carried the stench on their clothes. I was like, wow, that shit is stink. It's disgusting. I hate, ugh. I was like repulsed by cigarette smoke. You know what I'm saying? And I had never felt that feeling in my life. And it was at that moment I knew I quit. I am done with cigarettes. I am done. Corey Green, you can do it, fam. You can do it. I believe in you. Let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. We have 13 games on deck in its totality, but it's a 12 game a 12 game main with a 13 game all day. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna open up on DraftKings. I'm gonna use DraftKings as a reference in terms of pitching because on RotoQL, which is a great site, I love to use it. Sometimes the pitches are not correct. So let's go ahead and look. We got 13 games in the all day at 220. That'll get your early fix going, but the all day slates suck. You got 12 games in the main 705. You got 2 games at 805 in the turbo, 5 games in the night, and you got 4 games in the late night. Now I want you to know these 10-10 games are not good. The rosters are not going to be out by 7:05 when the 12 games lock up. They're not. So a lot of it is going to be stab in the dark, man. You're going to be having to really guess and project, and that's why it's so good that we have such a huge network of cats in here. Like let's say the Dodgers are playing right in a 10-10 game. Well, you can holler at Dylan Zink, man. The homie is a resident Dodgers enthusiast, man. He'll tell you, bro, you're probably not going to see Yasmani tonight. You're probably going to get Barnes because Yasmani played the last 2 games. I live in LA. I know what's going on. We've got those type of connections here. So do not be afraid to chop it up, learn who's who, and who you can ask questions about teams in their specific city. Because there's one thing I know I've learned about this is you know more about the team from the city you live in. You know more about them. And we've got representation from every city in America, okay? Just about. Every major city in America where there's sports, we have representation in the sweatshop. So use that as a tool, okay? So shout out to the homie Nathan Tyler Newell. He was in Miami with us, the big homie. Big homie. Good to see you, man. Dude looks like Brett Favre in person. Nathan Tyler Newell looks like Brett Favre. I always meant to say that, but I couldn't. Dude looks like Brett Favre for real. And he's a high school basketball coach. Solid dude, man. Really solid dude. All right, so here we go. like I said, we're going to just be talking pitching. We're going to be talking part factors, K rates, things of that nature. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. The very first game we got on the slate is going to be the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs. This is it would have been great if Quintana was able to pitch against the White Sox and kind of shut their asses down, but he pitched last night, so that's not what's happening. The first two pitchers are going to be Miguel Gonzalez, 5.1, Kyle Hendricks, 7.6. Hendricks, I think this is probably his what? Because he hasn't been playing for a while. This is his first game back from the deal, I think. Yeah, 2.8 in his last start. 7.8 was the price. Not really somebody I want to get with. Really not. And you look at it, this is going to be the game in Wrigley Field that's going to be on the all day. So you don't have to worry about this game in the main. So we can pretty much X pass this game. If you're playing all day and you want to grab some bats to kind of exploit either Miguel Gonzalez or maybe Kyle Hendricks, I can see that. But as far as anything else, I'm not playing it. First game on the main slate, the 7:05, is the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's go ahead and take a look at the park factors. We're going to Citizens Bank Park, which I think is a very friendly park to hitters, man. And it's tough. Plus 109. Okay, plus 109. Very, very extreme hitters park here. And we're going to take a look. You've got some rain considerations. 18% chance of rain here. 69 dew point, 63% humidity, 83 degrees. Okay, with 4 mile per hour wind. You got Brad Peacock going against Vince Velasquez. Now Peacock at 11.5. That is an absorbent price for him, man. Last time at 10.3, he got 33.35. But man, bro, that is like the highest we're gonna see Peacock this year. And don't get me wrong, he does have an extreme ability to K a lot of cats, man. But if for me, I like to think of 1,000 per K. I'm paying $1,000 in salary for every strikeout, projected strikeout I think I can get, and I don't see Brad Peacock striking out 11 people. I don't see that. I don't see it. I don't see Peacock striking out 11. Now, one thing that we have been seeing lately from the Philadelphia Phillies is we've been seeing them get shut down the first 4, 5, 6 innings by the starting pitcher and then just hammering the bullpen. We've seen that happen. So I think that Brad Peacock, while he is in a good position to thrive, I don't think he makes value with a 30-some-odd point game in a spot. I think but 22 to 27 points is probably where he's going to be. One home run given up on the season for Peacock. Yeah, he's given up one home run. And the Phillies have not been Swiss cheese lately, man. And then you look at the lefty-righty matchups or the switch hitter matchups that you're going to see here. Vince Velasquez being a decent pitching option. Peacock that's pricey, bro. 11.5. I'm gonna have to look at the rest of the slate before I can make a sound determination or if I'm gonna be playing Peacock or not. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna highlight him and come back to that. Vince Velasquez, no. That would be a suicide play against the Houston Astros, probably the hottest team right now in baseball. Let's take a look at what they've been doing in terms of, excuse me, and what we're going to be doing. We're going to go check out Fangraphs here, and then we're going to check out the K rates and things of that nature, so we get a good read on what the teams had been doing over the last. And see, me, I like to go over the last 30 days. That's going to give you a solid overview of what teams have been doing. Of course, we're going to do the advanced statistics here, and right there showing you, looking at K percentage, man. The Astros 16% K rate, highest in the league. 352 ISO. Excuse me. I'm sorry. 243 ISO nuts with a fairly large WOBA of 398. So this is not a squad, man, that you want to just roll a pitcher out against. And I think Houston Astros, of course, are going to be a viable stack that a lot of people are going to be on anyway, just because they're Houston. So next game we got is the Oakland A's and the Toronto Blue Jays. Francisco Liriano 5.8, Chris Smith at 6.1. Here we get the Oakland A's on the road against left-handed pitching. This has been sort of a tough spot for them. I definitely think that Liriano at 5.8 is going to garner some interest. He's a guy that I am going to be taking a look at. Let's look at what he's been doing as far as home and away splits. At home, 13.5, 5.5 against Boston at home, 25.5 against Tampa Bay. At the crib against my Yankees, 17.6. Against Cleveland, got hammered for -14. So he's had one really, really horrible game against Cleveland in the last like 15 games. At home against Baltimore, 26. Liriano is in play right here. For me, Liriano is definitely in play. You look at 5.8, very cheap against a team that strikes out a ton. Let's look at what these guys do specifically. Athletics second in the league in K rate, 26.8%. Now the ISO was up to 179. That is concerning, but a 311 WOBA, yo, Liriano's in play, and I think he's going to be fairly popular. I haven't even seen the entirety of the slate, but I think he's going to be fairly popular for good reason. The dude's only 5.8. What does he have to do in the Rogers Center, which is a really solid spot for pitchers? Let's take a look at park factors to give you a complete look here. Actually, Rogers Center is more of a hitter's park. I'm sorry. Uh, for every 100 runs produced around the league, you're gonna get 105 in the Rogers Center. For every 100 homers hit around the league, you're gonna get 120 home runs hit here. So for me, not only would Liriano be in play for me, but so would some of those Toronto bats. And if you take a look at it, man, we may get to a point which when you look at the ownership here, where Liriano could be like the pivot pitcher on the slate. Every slate, I try to lace and line out the pivot pitcher, the guy that if you don't have him, you better get exposure against him. And yesterday it was Corey Kluber. The day before that, it was I don't know, I can't remember somebody, but it works. It works. Like if you're very high, uh, it was Dave Russell was that. Yeah. If you're very high, if you're not very high on Liriano and you see he's going to be the chalk at 5.8, then you might as well attack him with some of those Oakland bats. So we're gonna get into that too later on today in the line drive at 5. So next game we got the Cincinnati Reds and the Cleveland Indians. Progressive field, sort of a neutral spot. We're not going to see. Yo, Rudy says that Chris Davis hit a jack today, so he'll probably go 0 for 3 for the next 3 games. Right, 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 right. So we're taking a look here. Cleveland Indians at the crib. Josh Tomlin, 8.1 against Tim Adelman. You know what? There's no way I can. Tomlin had been decent the last 2 games. 20.9 against San Fran, 25.35 against San Diego. These are both teams that just do not hit very well. And if you look at the San Francisco game, that was in San Fran, probably the friendliest park to pitchers. So I see that is what benefited Josh Tomlin the most. Tim Adelman at 5.8. He had a decent start out last time, 17.3. But we've since seen the Cleveland Indians, man, really light it up and strike it up. So I have no interest in either of these pitchers. As a matter of fact, I kind of like the bats in both spots. Remember, we got 15-mile-per-hour wind coming back toward the batter's box in Progressive Field. 0% chance of rain, 74 degrees here with a 62 dew point. Really nice game. I think it's going to be for the bats. Next game we got is the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers. Yo, Jason Hamill at 6.9. 13, 11, 14 in his last 3 starts. Fairly decent. And this is against Detroit, Texas, and the Dodgers, so against good teams. Well, he's matched up against Detroit again, and we know that Detroit at the crib against right-handed pitching are one of the best teams, righty-righty. We also know that the Kansas City Royals lefties can really do the damn thing against Justin Verlander. So this is going to be a spot with 12-mile-per-hour winds going out toward right field in Comerica Park. Which this makes it a hitter's situation. It definitely does. Yo, the 12-mile-per-hour winds in Detroit makes it more of a hitter situation. And it's a 99 park factor, which is fairly neutral, but that 12-mile-per-hour wind, that does something. Okay? So Hamill, I think, is a guy that you don't have to play. You can get around him. Verlander, 8.7. Let's look at him in his last 2 starts. 23 against Kansas City, 14, 19 against Cleveland. Has picked it up since that negative game we saw against the Indians about 4 games ago. But both of these offenses have been playing so well that I just don't want to play pitching on either side in this spot. That's just where I'm at with it. The next game we got is the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays. We got Kevin Guzman at 7.3, Blake Snell, 6.8. Snell played very well. No, he didn't. 11. He had a decent game before that against Chicago and hasn't really been hit all the way up this year so far. The worst game was against Kansas City with that .65. So he's a guy that I think could be in play. But you look at what the Orioles have been doing lately, bro. They've been mashing. The only problem is they've been doing that at Camden Yards. And all of these dudes can hit the ball for extreme distance and power when you talk about the Baltimore Orioles here. But, yo, Snell at 6.8. Lefty-righty matchup. I would lean the shift more toward this could be Snell's 30-point game. Yeah, I would lean more toward getting some exposure to him. And you look at the K rate, man, because that K rate hasn't really gone down much. Look at the Orioles here; they are 21.2% K rate, 173 ISO, 319 WOBA. So they are attackable, but I would also have interest in some of the Baltimore bats if I'm running multiple lineups. Kevin Guzman, no. Yo, Tampa Bay Park can't help Snell. That's true. Tampa Bay against Guzman. Guzman is a Shelly to me. People think he's good. I have absolutely no interest in ever playing Guzman. I don't think he's very good. He did have 27 against Texas. They struck out a ton, but -4 against Chicago, 35 against Tampa Bay. Like the dude is like up and down, very wishy-washy, and I don't want to play him. The only problem is this is the pitcher's park, and then you add to that how cold cats like Corey Dickerson have been, how cold Logan Morrison have been recently, and this has been a cold order, man. It really has been. I mean, Corey Dickerson was like on some MVP shit at one point throughout the season. And you see the 0, 22, 6, 0, 3, 0, 23, 0, 7, 0, 5, 9, 2, 0, 7, 4, 2, 10, 8, 8. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, Corey Dickerson was mashing at one point, and he just can't, he hasn't returned to that form recently. So, this is going to be tough, man. Yeah, Guzman, last time he gave Tampa the business. And I think that game was actually in Baltimore, too. Yeah, that game was in Baltimore, which is a better hitting situation. But he gave them the business last time. That's gonna be something to pay attention to. But I hate playing them. Next game we got is the Miami Marlins and the Texas Rangers. Globe Life Park in Arlington is where we're going to be for this one. You got Martin Perez 5.5, Adam Conley 5.3, two left-handers going at it again. And this is really going to make me look at some of the right-handed power for the Marlins. Hopefully we're going to get Ozuna back. He sat out yesterday's game. On the other side, man, you know they're going to shift most of those righties up toward the top of the order. Guys like Gomez, guys like Robinson Chirinos, Andrus, Napoli, those guys are probably going to be close to the top of the order, and I'm gonna want some exposure there. We've got 11 a run total here. This is hopefully a big bounce back spot for the Texas Rangers after that long road swing. They back at the crib. So hopefully we can see some solid batting performances from Texas. We're going to look at the park factor as it concerns the Rangers here. Very good hitters park. Globe Life 114 is going to be the park factor. That means for every 100 runs scored around the league, 114 runs are produced here. For every 100 homers that hit around the league, you get 113 home runs hit here. So I like that. I'm all about that. I can get there. I can get there. On the other side, against Martin Perez, we talked about that. Give me some of the power righties, man. Your Giancarlo Stanton, your Ozuna, those guys. I think I'm gonna definitely take consideration to them. Yo, Paul Harder says Elvis is going to leave the building again. Elvis Andrus, yeah. Next game we got the Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals. I really wish this game was in Colorado, bro. I love when Coarse is on the slate because people just panic a little bit on Monday, especially. Antonio Senzatella, 5.6. Mike Leake, 5.7. I think Mike Leake is going to be in play. I'm going to jump immediately on the Colorado Rockies are bad away from Rocky Stadium. I'm going to jump immediately on that, and I am going to play some Mike Leake tomorrow. I kind of like him at 5.7. That's a very cheap price for a guy that can play well. Coming off of a bad start, no one is going to want to play this cat. I'm going to have some interest in Mike Leake. I may be in the minority. I just will. I'm not going to be playing any Antonio Senzatella. I think some of the St. Louis Cardinals bats are going to be in play, but just not a ton of them. Next game we got, and Busch Stadium is very friendly to Busch Stadium is very friendly to pitchers. Very friendly to pitchers. Next game we got is this is gonna be a good one right here. Chase Field, man. We got Atlanta Braves, Arizona Diamondbacks. We got Zach Greinke, 11.9. R.A. Dickey, 6K. Now this is gonna be like the epitome of, you know, if you pick this game right, you could definitely come away on top of this slate. We've got Greinke at 11.9, right? I'm going to take a look at him. 4.65 against Cincinnati, 30 against Cincinnati, 29, 19, 17. And his home road joints is really what's happening. He was much better at home than he was on the road at a certain point in the season. You see 40 against Pittsburgh at home. We got at home against the White Sox, 42. At home against San Diego, 20. At home against Philadelphia, 19, 29, 30 at home. He's much better at home. He much better. Greinke is much better at home than he is on the road. Now the problem is the Atlanta Braves are crushing on the road, and I don't think that. I think that the Braves, the way they've been playing recently and swinging the bat recently, you can play them in this situation. Okay, I think you can play. I think you can play the Atlanta Braves in this situation, and I also think that Zach Greinke deserves some consideration. So I'm probably going to split the difference in this spot. I'm going to have a couple of Greinke lines. I'm going to have a couple of Braves lines because I don't think either team or either guys are going to be playable. Highly owned. Like I don't think people are going to rush out to play all Atlanta bats. I think people are going to be scared to play Greinke against Atlanta bats. I think people are going to be scared to play Atlanta against Greinke, and I think it can work for me either way, right? I think we're going to see a lot of fearful people doing that. Now, take a look at R.A. Dickey at 6K. How do these guys respond to the knuckleball is what we're going to have to figure out, and we're going to meet in the first class and really break that stuff down because R.A. Dickey has been really good lately, very good lately. He's been doing so well in spots that you wouldn't think he would. I mean, Chicago 12 against Arizona. They just saw them. 24 against Washington, 14 against Oakland, 26 against Milwaukee, 28 against San Fran. He's been playing very well so far. So we want to take a look at that, revisit that. It's only a 9-run total. That's not very heavy. Let's go and move on to the next game. We've got the Minnesota Twins and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hyun-Jin Ryu, I haven't seen him in quite some time. Bartolo Colon is back on the mound. Ain't no motherfucking way I'm playing no Colon. Of course, the Dodgers are going to be one of my favorite stacks on the slate. Colon 2.2 fantasy points. Remember against the Yankees when he started out in like the first 3 innings, he was like balling out in the first 3 innings, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Colon's gonna pitch a perfect game," and he just started to get hit the fuck up. Man, I'm stacking the Dodgers and I'm moving on. I ain't even playing with it. I'm stacking the Dodgers and I'm moving on. Now Hyun-Jin Ryu, I think this could be a game stack actually. Because Ryu is not a dude that I'm scared to play at all. I'm scared to go against too. 19, 9, 19, 7.4, 11 in his last 4 starts. Not afraid of him at all. The Twins, while they have not been awesome lately, I still think Brian Dozier against a lefty is automatic. Brian Dozier against a left-handed pitcher is automatic. He's gonna be one of my favorite plays on the state, automatically. And I love a Dodger stack here against Bartolo Colon in the spot. Next game we got the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. DeGrom baby, 13.4 man. Depending on what comes out. See, I'm not the guy that's gonna tell you, I'm just not gonna pay up for a pitcher because he's cost a lot. I just can't do it. No, I have to pick my spots where I'm paying up for pitching. And a couple of things are setting this up for me. Number one, DeGrom at 12.6 had a bad game. 18.2. That wasn't good, right? People are going to be sour about that, all right? That's the first point. Number two, the San Diego Padres are one of the worst teams in the league in terms of K rate. They're actually 4th in the league, 26.2% K rate, okay? 171 ISO, 318 WOBA. You got that. Then you got the fact that DeGrom himself, 13.4, the price is going to get people off of him. All right? And you may say unless, okay, like Rudy says, unless DeGrom drops 50, he ain't worth it. I beg to differ. Because looking on the slate, if you can get 40 from DeGrom, if you can get a 39-point game, 38-point game, 37-point game, you can really separate yourself in this spot. And we're talking about the Padres here. The Padres are going to be the Padres. Right? Yeah, his ownership is going to be low. His ownership is going to be low. Yeah, his ownership is going to be low. And DeGrom is not, I mean, DeGrom is like a true great pitcher. You know what I'm saying? You think he's going to be the chalk? I don't think so. I don't think people are going to play him. I don't think, unless he got the blisters. And I don't think he got the blisters. You know what I mean? I don't think he got the blisters. So I can see taking a shot on DeGrom at 13.4. And for me, it's not always about, I'm not paying for the pitch because the highest price. I'm just gonna fade the pitcher. It's not about that for me. For me, it's knowing when to pick your spots, knowing who to play. Like today, Kluber. Yeah, Kluber. Yeah, great play. Kluber was an awesome play, a 40-point play. You gotta play that. If a pitcher gets you 40 points, you gotta pay whatever it is for him. If you're getting 40 for him, you know what I mean, that's what we're looking for. If you're getting 40 for a pitcher, you gotta pay whatever it costs. If you're gonna get that, and I think that DeGrom is in a good spot to do that. To do that. Edmund Neve says everyone knows to play almost anyone versus the Padres. All right, cool. So I'm gonna be looking at him. I'm gonna take. I'm probably gonna take a shot or two at him. And the one thing that really opens me up to rostering one of the higher dollar pitchers is because there are guys that are cheap that I really like. Like if I'm playing Liriano, a Liriano DeGrom lineup, like that's if one dude get 40, one dude get 20, I'm fucking killing it at that point. You know what I'm saying? And I still can pretty much shake with some of the bats that I want. All right. Clayton Richard 5.4. I think just the fact that number one, a lefty against the Mets, and the Mets are going to be on the road, that could be a decent way to go. And you also look at DeGrom here. Maybe the pitching in this game, 7.5 run total, keeps it scoring lightly. That way you can look to a guy like Clayton Richard who can get strikeouts, a very solid pitcher against lefties, which you're going to see. You're going to see some of the righties move up into the order for the Mets tomorrow as well. So this could be a good game, man. 7.5 points. I like this game. Remember, it's one of the 10-10 games too, so we're not going to get the finalized lineup by the time we get out of the first class and right before lineups lock. So the next game we got is the Boston Red Sox and the Seattle Mariners. Eduardo Rodriguez 7.8, James Paxton 10.5. Man, Paxton is expensive, bro. 10.5 for Paxton. 27, 28, 30 in his last 3 starts. And those were against Houston, the White Sox, and Oakland, bro. So that was really decent. Then against the Angels, 19, 23 against Philadelphia. That's pretty decent, man. And you got him at home against the Boston Red Sox, man. The only issue I have is that lefty-righty matchups are going to be very tough for him to get through that order. You look at Mookie Betts, Benintendi, then you look at Hanley Ramirez and all those guys. It's going to be tough for him to get through that order repeatedly, and get away without giving up some runs. So Paxton's a guy that I'm going to have on my initial radar. I'm going to look at it a little bit closer later on. But, okay, the cats in the shop seem to be loving Paxton at this point. And I can dig it. It makes perfect sense for me. I can dig it. Eduardo Rodriguez, 7.8. Not a guy that I love. 16, 5.95, and 20.7, 27.8 in his last 4 starts. Pretty decent. Against Seattle at home, we know Seattle is a really, really solid spot for pitching. We know that. In terms of park fans, I think Seattle, like as Safeco, is like one of the best places. Yes, man, they're 29th ranked in the league, so the second best place in the league behind San Francisco. They have a negative 85 park factor, so just a really good spot for pitchers. If you do like a pitcher in this game, go ahead and use them. Stack Seattle against Mark Davis says stack Seattle. Scott Ferguson says I'm going to use Paxton against my Red Sox. I can dig it. I can dig it. I like that put me on Paxton most assuredly. That put me on Paxton. Last game we got is in the best place for the pitchers to play, and that's Garrett Cole at 9.9. Lock me up with him, baby. I love me some Garrett Cole tomorrow, boy. 9.9. That's going to separate the men from the boys. What I like about him is the price went up. The price went up enough for you to take a look at it and say, hey, do you really believe in Garrett Cole? Well, pay up a little bit. But it ain't astronomical to the point to where I just can't get to him. I like Garrett Cole here at 9.9, a play that I am most certainly interested in. Got him going to AT&T Park. Love it. I've got no issue there. Okay, now let's look. Now, he has seen San Fran earlier this season. That was in Pittsburgh. Well, now they're going to San Francisco. And 4.8 was his last point, his last score against them. But take a look, bro. 30.15 in his last one against Milwaukee. 15.24 for his last 3 starts. I like that. I like that. I like Garrett Cole tomorrow. I really do. Matt Cain at 4.7. Not a player that I'm particularly interested in at all. But you look at it, man. That's cheap. 4.7 in a pitcher's park what does Matt Cain have to do or not do to make value? If you want to pay up for a guy like DeGrom, and you still want to get some solid bats, Matt Cain can be a dude that you play at 4.7, which is the price of an outfielder. And if he gets 13 points like he got against Cleveland, you're good. You know what I'm saying? So you got so take a look at him as well too. That's a guy that I am gonna take a look at him too, because it could completely this Monday. It could completely go the other way. San Fran is statistically the worst hitting teams in the league. Also, that is true. That is true. Look at the San Francisco Giants here, and we can see they don't strike out a ton. They're always in the bottom of the league in strikeouts, 20.1% strikeouts K rate, but 122 ISO with a 292 WOBA. That is not good at all. That is not good. Yo, Paul Harlan is supposed to be to shout out the first place Cubs. They made up 5.5 games already. Okay. Wasn't it enough that you won a World Series last year, bro? Damn. So, Matt Cain. I'm gonna look at Matt Cain tomorrow. I am. It's Monday, bro. Stranger things have happened. So let's go ahead and go back over it and take a look at some of the pitching that we do have. Of course, man, this is gonna be condensed like a mug by the time we get down to it. Okay. Guys in the top tier, I like DeGrom, Greinke, Peacock, Paxton. Then in the second tier, guys under 10K, is gonna be Garrett Cole and Liriano. I'm going all the way cheap. Liriano, Mike Leake is a guy that I like, and then Matt Cain, the cheapest pitcher on the slate. Cincy Stacks versus oh hell no, Cole getting hit tomorrow. I don't know, bro. Well, and this is an initial look. We're gonna jump into the first class, man, and really chop it up. All right. So thank you all so much, man, for joining me in this. Yo, shout out to Christian Barber, bro. You had a nice day today, bro. I saw that family, liked it. I love that one. So thank y'all so much, man, for joining me in the first class, man. If you want to get into the line drive with us, where we go ahead and build our rosters once the lineups come out, go to the website, man, www.dfssweatshop.com. I will see you all tomorrow. If you're on FanDuel, keep it 250. If you're on DraftKings, keep it 200. You rocking with the best, so you'll always keep it at 300. Peace.